2026 just started and we already have a problem. The Reno 15 just launched with a processor downgrade and people are not happy. So I grabbed the Xiaomi 15T with the strongest chip in this price range and the Vivo V60 with those insane portrait cameras, and I'm putting them head to head against the Reno 15 to answer one question. Is this downgrade actually a deal breaker, or is everyone overreacting? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which phone deserves your money. But first, drop a comment right now and tell me before you even watch, which one do you think wins? Let's settle this. Let's start with the design, and the Reno still stands out with the best materials in its price range. The back is made of glass and it's the only one with a metal frame. Its grip is the best and most premium, and it's compact in the hand but also not too small at the same time. As for Vivo and Xiaomi, the back is also made of glass but the frame is plastic, so it gives you slightly less premium feel. As a design and look, it's all about taste. I can't judge and tell you which one you'll like more. As for weight, thickness, and things like that, the three phones are close to each other. But in terms of dimensions, like I told you, the Reno is compact and the smallest in dimensions. After it comes the Vivo, you feel it's slightly longer than the Oppo. As for the Xiaomi, it's longer and wider. It's considered the biggest of them in the hand. All the phones are water resistant with excellent certification IP68 and also IP69 for Vivo and Oppo, so don't worry at all about the water issue in these phones. Also, they all definitely come with cases in the boxes. Write me a comment right now and tell me which one has the better design. Let's check out the screens. The smallest is Oppo at 6.59 inches, then Vivo at 6.77 inches, then Xiaomi at 6.83 inches. All are AMOLED, 120Hz, 1.5K in Xiaomi and Oppo, while Vivo is Full HD+. All support HDR10+, and Xiaomi adds that it supports Dolby Vision. Xiaomi and Oppo have completely flat screens with very minimal bezels, while Vivo's screen has something called quad curve, meaning there's a slight curve on all edges of the screen and its bezels are slightly bigger if you compare it to Oppo and Xiaomi. In terms of colors, content viewing, and all that, the three screens are excellent and well calibrated, but as my personal opinion, as a very personal preference, just in terms of color boosting and controlling them, I like Oppo and Xiaomi more than Vivo. But like I told you, this is personal preference. You might not feel any difference at all in the end in color temperature between these three screens. As for brightness, I want you to put the numbers aside and know and understand that I always update the phones, and all these phones are updated at the time of filming this video. Updates sometimes make a difference in brightness. The important thing is that the highest brightness is still Vivo, slightly higher than the other phones, then Xiaomi and Oppo got really close to each other, and I was honestly surprised. I mean, Oppo now boosts the brightness or raises the brightness to the point that it almost matches Xiaomi, and I want to tell you that none of these phones will give you a problem with brightness under the sun, but Vivo stands out with slightly higher brightness. These screens all have excellent dimming rates that will be comfortable for your eyes, don't worry. There's Gorilla Glass 7 eye protection on Oppo and Xiaomi, and Shot Sensation Core on Vivo. All three phones come in the box with a screen protector already installed. Let's see the performance battle. Xiaomi has the strongest processor, Dimensity 8400 Ultra, then Oppo and Vivo with the same processor now from Snapdragon 7 Gen 4. The fastest storage memory is in Xiaomi, UFS 4.1, then Oppo 3.1, then Vivo the slowest at 2.2. Regarding updates, I want you to focus with me. Oppo and Xiaomi get 5 years of actual Android updates, while Vivo gets 4 years of Android updates. But you need to know that Xiaomi and Vivo have already launched with updates and received Android 16, so you've already taken 1 year of your updates. But Oppo launched with Android 16 and you still have 5 more years ahead, meaning basically Oppo will get up to Android 21, then Xiaomi will get up to Android 20, then Vivo will get up to Android 19. The important thing is that at the time of our testing, like I told you, they're all updated and running Android 16. Benchmark programs show that the strongest in numbers is Xiaomi, then Oppo, then Vivo. Even though Oppo and Vivo have the same processor, but Oppo's numbers on all benchmark programs are higher than Vivo. Anyway, forget about benchmark programs, let's see the actual performance. I tested the three phones together for quite a while, and I want to tell you what I felt beyond the speed test video you see in front of you. Xiaomi and Oppo are very fast, very excellent, very snappy. They won't bother you at all in daily use. They'll give you a very satisfying experience. And Vivo is a very small notch below them, not a big difference. Even after the Origin OS 6 update that completely changed Vivo's interface and made it look better, it still has a very slight lag or sluggishness compared to Oppo and Xiaomi, but not a big difference. Bottom line, these three phones will give you a very satisfying daily experience. But I decided to do something. Take advantage of the processor power in Xiaomi and try to render the same video with the same edit on the same program on all three phones. The usual thing I do every once in a while. I don't know why I haven't done it in a while. Anyway, this thing confused me and I did it more than once on more than one program, and I was surprised that every time Vivo, which I just told you is the slowest notch of them, is the one that finishes fastest. I don't know how. I mean, Vivo, you have UFS 2.2 and your processor is 7 Gen 4, less than Xiaomi, so I don't know how Xiaomi is a notch slower than Vivo. By the way, I tried several programs and did this test several times, and even tried turning on performance mode or boost mode or highest battery consumption to get the strongest performance on all three phones, and every time the same result. Vivo eats Xiaomi and Oppo is the slowest of them. I was honestly surprised by the result, but I wanted to show it to you so you understand that phone optimization with a specific program differs fundamentally beyond processor power. I'm not making excuses for you. I just want you to help you understand or get you a message. Since the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 in the Honor 400, which is actually cheaper than these phones, you'll get an excellent daily experience, and it's very hard for you to feel the phone lagging or hanging even after a period of use. So here you have at minimum the 7 Gen 4, then the Dimensity 8400, so don't worry at all. Excellent daily experience in phones generally in the upper mid-range, but the difference shows in heavy gaming experience and consequently heat. So let's now talk about this part. What I noticed is that Oppo and Vivo are very stable with the 7 Gen 4. This processor doesn't heat up, doesn't throttle beyond the cooling power in each phone, so don't worry. Excellent heat management, and the processor doesn't even think about reducing its frequencies. That's just how it's built. As for Xiaomi, it reduces its frequencies after being under pressure for a while. It throttles a little bit and also heats up obviously more than the rest of the phones. When running PUBG, Oppo and Xiaomi run 90 frames officially, while Vivo is still at 60 frames until now, and I don't understand why. There's a problem with Vivo with PUBG. It's not always supported on most phones at the highest possible frames. It can run 90 frames normally. Anyway, in the gaming experience, Vivo is the weakest because of lower frames, but to be fair, it heats up the least with an extended PUBG session. Then Oppo, a very balanced, very stable experience. You'll feel the game is consistent from the beginning of the match to the end with the same frames without any throttling or any choking, with very acceptable moderate heat in the phone body. And Xiaomi, yes, it'll give you slightly stronger performance, maybe in graphics, but as frames, after a while of playing on it, if you play long, it'll start dropping frames because the processor throttles. The processor heats up a bit and the phone body heats up a bit. And this will take us to another point, which is the battery. Xiaomi's battery is the smallest at 5500 mAh, then Oppo, then Vivo at 6500 mAh. Beyond the number completely, I did my test, where I charged these phones to 100% and used them exactly the same, intensive use, and I found that Xiaomi is noticeably less. We're talking about Xiaomi reached 14%, Oppo 40%, Vivo 53%, so it's clear that Xiaomi is out of the competition in the battery department. If you're one of those people who wants to buy a new phone with a strong battery they can rely on all day, they stay out all day, don't want to use external chargers or it's not suitable for them, or don't want to use power banks for whatever reasons, then stay away from Xiaomi because you won't be happy with the battery performance.
But Oppo and Vivo have excellent battery performance. Yes, Vivo is still slightly stronger in battery than Oppo, but you need to know that Oppo's screen is 1.5K, and I had it running at 1.5K and had always on display running all the time. These things burn battery a bit more than Vivo's Full HD, which doesn't have always on display running all the time. But anyway, the important thing is that Vivo's battery is still slightly higher than Oppo's battery, but not a huge difference. We're talking about roughly 10%. So the summary of this story, Xiaomi 15T barely makes it to the end of the day with average use. Oppo lasts about a day and a half with you. Vivo can reach 2 days with you with average use. On the charging speed side, all these phones come with chargers in the boxes, don't worry. Vivo has the fastest charger at 90 watts, then Oppo at 80 watts, then Xiaomi at 67 watts. All these phones' fingerprints are under the display and their performance is very fast. I don't feel any problem. They all, of course, have an extra mic for noise cancellation. They have NFC feature, always on display feature turns on for a bit and turns off on all phones, except Oppo where you can keep it on all the time. Regarding sounds, they're all stereo. The Oppo has loud and excellent sound, the Xiaomi also has loud sound but muffled or a notch less than Oppo's sound, and Vivo has loud sound but in my assessment it's a notch below them in sound. So in order, the highest is Oppo, then Xiaomi, then Vivo. As for the proximity sensor that locks the screen on your ear during calls, the only one with a real sensor that works perfectly is Oppo, while Vivo and Xiaomi have software sensors. In my assessment of them, Vivo's sensor is slightly smarter than Xiaomi's sensor, but of course the real one is better in Oppo. As for cellular networks and Wi-Fi, I'd be lying to you if I said there's a difference between the three phones. All three are excellent and pick up signal from places where it's hard to pick up signal. Let's wrap up with the cameras. They all have a 50-megapixel main camera lens with optical stabilization, but with different sensor types, and they all have a telephoto lens for zoom, 50 megapixels with optical stabilization as well, but with differences in actual zoom capabilities. We're talking about 120x in Oppo, 100x in Vivo, and 60x in Xiaomi. And they all have an ultra-wide lens. It's the best in Xiaomi at 12 megapixels. And the selfie is 50 megapixels in Oppo and Vivo and 32 megapixels in Xiaomi. Video recording with the rear camera is 4K 60 frames in Xiaomi and in Oppo, while only 4K 30 frames in Vivo, and selfie 4K 60 frames only in Oppo, and 30 frames in Vivo and in Xiaomi. Put all this talk aside and let's see the actual performance of the cameras in the three phones. Let's start with portrait photos. First photo, 1x from far away, they're similar to each other. But when we try portrait 2x, I'll find Xiaomi's colors not right at all, and the image is overexposed quite a bit. Oppo and Vivo are excellent. When we zoom in and see the details, we'll find slightly excessive sharpness in Vivo compared to Oppo. This is roughly the processing difference. And of course, you still have portrait 3.5x or 85mm in Oppo and Vivo, very excellent, and this doesn't exist in Xiaomi. Second photo, portrait 1x, half sun and half shade. Let's see the 2x. Well, Xiaomi overexposed part of the face and didn't process it. Vivo darkened the image a bit. Oppo, I liked its look here and processed the skin better. And you still have portrait 3.5x, excellent in Oppo and Vivo, with a difference in processing style. Portrait 1x in the shade, I don't understand what Xiaomi did here. Well, portrait 2x from far away, they're all excellent. Let's see the details. Xiaomi here captured the most details. Oppo played with it a bit, and Vivo drew it a bit with excessive sharpness. Which one would you choose here? And the portrait 3.5x, its performance is very close in Vivo and Oppo. Portrait 2x with sunlight coming from the door, I'll choose Xiaomi here so I can say I chose it in at least one photo. By the way, the rest are excellent. If lighting conditions are balanced, Xiaomi can give you a very nice photo, but it's a bit random. Studio lighting, as usual, Xiaomi overexposed the face a bit from the side of the light. In the 2x, I liked Vivo, but in the portrait 3.5x, I liked Oppo. In very low light, I don't understand what Xiaomi did here. What's wrong with you, man? What's going on? Vivo is excellent, and Oppo drew the details a bit. Portrait 3.5x, and here I liked Vivo more in the processing. As for regular photography, buildings, landscapes, and all that, Xiaomi is the one I like most. It's delicious, very well calibrated, then Vivo, then Oppo. The differences aren't big, but we also notice that the widest main camera lens among them is Xiaomi, then Vivo, and the narrowest by a clear difference is Oppo. Xiaomi's strength difference shows more in weak lighting. We'll find no noise, details are slightly clearer than Vivo and Oppo. As for zoom, the zoom lens in Xiaomi is modest. Up to 2x it works. Look, this cat waited for me to take several photos. 10x zoom with the three phones, but after 10x zoom, Xiaomi becomes weak, and Oppo and Vivo are good. But I liked Oppo's zoom more than Vivo. I feel Oppo processes images slightly better than Vivo, and this is in the morning and even in weak lighting. As for selfie, Xiaomi has a photo look of its own. I don't think everyone will like it. Oppo and Vivo have the usual photo look in this category, or the one I like. But of course, Oppo's shooting angle now is the widest one, and the lens lets in a lot of light. I noticed a difference in selfie photo processing between Oppo and Vivo, but not a fundamental difference. I mean, they're two sides of the same coin. The main difference is in the wider shooting angle in Oppo, and the selfie at night in Xiaomi I don't like at all. I'll leave you with video recording. As for video recording, we have the Xiaomi 15T. Its processor helps a lot in video recording quality. Let's see if it's the best one among them or if there's something else to say. And this is the Reno 15 that many people were upset about the downgrade or reduction of its processor, but let's see if this processor makes a difference in video recording quality or what compared to the other phones. And this is the V60, which is very special in portrait photography. Will it be able to compete with the Xiaomi 15T and Reno 15 in video recording or what? And this is a test for the Xiaomi 15T in our dark street. Let's see how it will be on 4K. Details, colors compared to the rest of the phones. And this is the Reno 15 in the same dark street on 4K. Let's see if it's less than Xiaomi or better than Xiaomi. Let's see Vivo after them and see what's what. And this is the last one with us, the Vivo V60 that has the same processor as the Reno 15. So we'll see if its sensors and night video recording are better than Reno or what. Selfie video recording in the Reno 15 is excellent. 4K reaches up to 60 frames. The angle is wide and stable, and its video quality is nice. So let's compare it with the other phones. This is the V60. Its angle is also wide in selfie recording. It might be slightly narrower than the Reno, or maybe almost the same in videos, but there's no stability. The video shakes while you're recording. You have to drop the quality down to 1080 only, but the video quality itself and processing is very nice. And this is the Xiaomi 15T, the narrowest selfie video shooting angle among them, but 4K, 30 frames, and the video is stable. Good details and very natural processing. So let's see the videos one after another and choose the best one among them. As for prices, the Reno 15, the price for the 256GB and 12GB version is $550, and the 512GB and 12GB is $600. As for the Vivo V60, 256GB and 12GB is $550, and the 512GB and 12GB is $600. While the Xiaomi 15T, the 256GB and 12GB is $570, and the 512GB and 12GB is $600. All prices mentioned are approximate estimates, meant to give you a general idea. Please check local prices in your country for accuracy. Of course, they all can run 2 SIM cards, they can't run a memory card, and they all support eSIM feature normally, thank God. My final opinion, I'll give you the summary in a few simple sentences so you don't get confused. If you want the strongest processor and you don't have problems with Xiaomi, get the 15T of course, and tolerate its extra heat and battery that's not the strongest thing. But if you want a phone that takes better photos of people or portraits, stronger battery, less heat, and a reliable phone where reselling it will be easier, then think about the Reno or the Vivo, and I'll tell you what each one is better at. The Reno wins in more premium metal frame, more compact in the hand, flattest screen with the least bezels, higher resolution 1.5K, faster storage memory, more years of Android updates, real proximity sensor, newer wider selfie, and louder stereo sound. As for the Vivo V60, it wins in higher screen brightness, battery that's still stronger, and slightly faster charging. Do you still think the Reno 15 is a failed deal or a deal much less than competing phones in the upper mid-range? Look, I'll tell you something. If you have the Reno 15 in front of you and the Reno 14 is still available brand new and you're confused between them, if you just want a stronger processor and you'll tolerate the heat in any way, then get the Reno 14. But if you want more stability, less heat, bigger battery, and newer, wider selfie, then definitely stick with the newer one, which is the Reno 15, which, as we saw, its experience isn't bad at all and is still very competitive. As for my opinion on the rest of the series, the Reno 15 FY has very slight improvements over the Reno 14F, and I already wasn't recommending the Reno 14F because of its processor, which is considered the weakest in its price category. The phone is, acceptable for people with normal usage, but it's not the strongest, nor is it value for money. But I don't recommend it, and it sells a lot because it's the cheapest member of the Reno. As for the Reno 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max, their pricing made them also not value for money because you have beasts in the flagship killer category like the Samsung S25 FE, the Honor 400 Pro, the Xiaomi 15T Pro. All these phones offer more value for money than the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max from the Reno series. And that's it. This was my opinion. We're done with the video. I want to thank you very much if you made it with me to this point. Make sure you hit that like button. Write me a comment right now and tell me your opinion on these phones after the comparison and which one you think deserves you spending money on it. And make sure you subscribe to us if you're watching us for the first time on YouTube. Turn on the notification bell so you can see new phone reviews and comparisons as soon as they drop.